My fiancé's favorite thing about me was that I was low maintenance. He said it like a compliment, like it proved we were solid. Like I was the kind of woman who didn't ask questions, didn't start fights, didn't ruin a good time with inconvenient feelings. And for the longest time, I wore it like a badge because it meant I was safe to love. 3 months from now, I was supposed to be walking down an aisle in a vineyard outside the city, wearing a dress my mom cried over when I tried it on. The deposits were paid. The seating chart was half done. My notes app was a graveyard of tiny decisions. Napkin shades, song choices, vow drafts I kept rewriting like I could edit my future into something permanent. Then, on a random Wednesday night, I opened my fiancé's iPad and watched my life split into two timelines. The one I thought I was living, and the one he'd been hiding behind "it's just a friend." His name is Evan. Mine is Mia. We'd been together 2 years, engaged for 8 months, and everyone told us we were that couple. The calm couple, the mature couple, the couple who didn't do drama. Evan worked in sales, the kind of person who could sell ice to a snowstorm and leave the customer thanking him. I worked in operations, the person who noticed the details before they turned into disasters. He was charming. I was consistent. Together, we looked like balance. Lately, though, balance started to feel like I was holding all the weight. It began with a name that kept popping up like an ad you can't close. Leela. At first, it was harmless. A mention here, a laugh there. Leela said the funniest thing at work. Leela's going through a breakup, she needs a friend. Leela doesn't know anyone in the city, I'm just being nice. Evan said it with the same tone he used when he talked about traffic or bad coffee, minor annoyances, nothing worth digging into. And I didn't dig, because I was low maintenance, because I didn't want to be the girl who doesn't trust, because I told myself that love means not policing someone's kindness. But there were moments that didn't fit the story he was selling. Like how he started taking his phone to the bathroom even when he brushed his teeth. Like how he angled the screen away from me when he sat beside me on the couch. Like how he'd smile at a text and then immediately clear his throat and look serious when I glanced over. One night I asked, casual, light, the way you ask a question when you're hoping the answer will soothe you. Is Leela the new office bestie? Evan laughed. Babe, it's just a friend, don't make it weird. That sentence should come with a warning label, because the moment someone says don't make it weird, the weird is already alive. If you want the full truth, hit like so this story reaches more people. Because I swear, the truth only shows up when you stop protecting the lie. I wish I could tell you I confronted him right then. I wish I could tell you I had some perfect, empowered line ready. But the truth is, I swallowed it. I nodded. I forced a smile. And I told myself I was being mature. Then his iPad buzzed on the kitchen counter 2 days later, and everything I'd been ignoring lit up like a flare. The iPad wasn't even supposed to be on. Evan treated it like a forgotten accessory, something he only used for flights and fantasy football. But that afternoon it sat on the counter, screen dark, plugged in like it belonged there. I was rinsing blueberries in the sink, thinking about nothing more intense than whether we had enough milk, when it buzzed, one sharp vibration that made me look up. A notification flashed across the lock screen. Leela, I miss you. Last night felt dangerous. My hands went still under the water. The blueberries spun in the colander like tiny planets, and my brain did that thing where it tries to find the most innocent explanation because the alternative is too heavy to hold. Maybe she meant a conversation. Maybe she was dramatic. Maybe he'd helped her with something risky at work. Maybe dangerous was a joke. Then another buzz. Leela, can you delete the pics, please? That one didn't leave room to breathe. I dried my hands slowly, like moving too fast would make it real. My first instinct was to call him, to demand answers. My second instinct, stronger, was to see everything before he could rewrite it. Because Evan's greatest skill wasn't selling, it was explaining. The iPad was locked, but I knew the passcode. We'd shared codes because we were healthy, because we were transparent, because, apparently, transparency only counts when there's nothing to hide. I typed it in. The screen opened. No fireworks, no dramatic music, just a home screen with a beach wallpaper we'd picked together. I opened messages. There it was. A thread labeled Leela W. Dozens of unread lines, stacked like evidence. At first, my eyes snagged on the casual stuff, work complaints, memes, little jokes. It almost fooled me again. Then I scrolled. You looked so good in that dress. I replayed your voice note like 5 times. I can still smell your perfume on my hoodie. I hate going home after being with you. My mouth went dry. The air felt thin, like the kitchen had lost oxygen. I kept scrolling, needing the bottom of it, the way you keep reading a medical report even when it's already confirmed what you feared. A week ago. Evan, she's asleep. I'm in the living room. Leela, I wish you were in my bed instead. Evan, soon, be patient. 2 days ago. Leela, are you sure you're actually going to do it? Evan, I told you, after the vendor meeting. I just need the timing right. Leela, because of the wedding. Evan, exactly. Too messy if I do it now. Leela, I hate waiting. Evan, you're worth it. The world tilted, not because he was cheating, though that alone would have shattered me, but because he'd turned my life into a scheduling problem. Timing right, vendor meeting, too messy. My stomach rolled as if it had tried to climb out of my body. I leaned on the counter, one hand gripping the edge like it could keep me upright. Then I saw the photos. I didn't even have to open them fully. The thumbnails were enough. Her face tilted toward his, her hand on his chest, their mouths too close to be accidental. And then one that made my vision blur, Evan in our bedroom mirror, shirt off, the engagement ring on his hand catching the light like a cruel joke. I stopped breathing. Somewhere in the apartment, the refrigerator hummed, steady and indifferent. The normality of the sound felt violent. Footsteps in the hallway, a key in the lock. My heart slammed once, hard like it was warning me. Decide who you are right now. Evan walked in with grocery bags, smiling. Hey, babe, I got the pasta you like. I stared at him, holding the iPad like a weapon I hadn't learned to use. Comment 5 if you believe she deserved justice, because in that moment, I needed to know I wasn't crazy for wanting it. His smile faltered. What's wrong? I didn't answer. I just turned the screen toward him and watched his face change. For a second, Evan looked like a child caught with his hand in a cookie jar, surprised, offended, almost like my seeing it was the real betrayal. Then his eyes narrowed, and the salesman in him snapped awake. Mia, he said carefully, setting the bags down like he was placing a bomb. Why are you going through my stuff? That sentence hit harder than it should have, because it was designed to. Shift the spotlight. Put me on defense. Make me explain myself instead of making him explain the pictures, the messages, the promises of soon. I wasn't going through your stuff, I said, and my voice sounded calm in a way that didn't match the shaking inside me. Your iPad was on the counter. It lit up. Leela said she missed you. She asked you to delete the pics, so I opened it. You violated my privacy, he snapped, then softened immediately like he realized anger wouldn't sell. Baby, that's not okay. Not okay, like I'd broken a dish. I set the iPad down, palms flat on the counter, grounding myself. Are you sleeping with her? Evan exhaled, rubbing his forehead. It's not that simple. Is it physical? I pressed. He hesitated half a beat too long. We made a mistake. A mistake, singular. Like it happened once, like it fell out of the sky, like he tripped and landed in her bed. I opened the message thread again and scrolled to the part where he said soon. Be patient. I didn't read it out loud. I just held the screen up. His jaw tightened. Okay, yes, I've been talking to her. It got out of hand. Out of hand, I repeated, tasting the stupidity of the phrase. You planned the timing. You told her after a vendor meeting. You said the wedding would be messy. That's not out of hand. That's strategy. Evan's eyes flicked away. I didn't want to hurt you. The audacity almost made me laugh. You didn't want to hurt me, so you built a whole secret relationship behind my back. He stepped closer. Mia, listen, Leela is she's fun, she's exciting, she gets me. But you, he reached for my hand like he was closing a deal. You're my real life, your stability, you're what I want long-term. There it was. The contrast he thought was flattering. Fun versus stability. Exciting versus reliable. He said it like I should be grateful to be chosen as the sensible option. I pulled my hand away. So I'm the safe investment and she's the thrill. That's not what I meant. It is what you meant, I said, my throat burning. And you're not even sorry you did it. You're sorry I saw it. Evan's expression shifted again, calculating. What do you want me to do? I can end it. Right now, I'll call her. I stared at him and a strange clarity settled over me, because if he could end it right now, it meant he'd been choosing not to. Every day, every time he kissed me, every time he talked about our honeymoon, every time he let me book appointments and pay deposits and dream out loud. Call her, I said. Relief flashed across his face. He grabbed his phone instantly, thumbs moving fast, too practiced. He put it on speaker. It rang once. Twice. Then her voice, bright, easy, as if she belonged here. Hey, you, are we still on for tonight? Evan swallowed. Leela, we need to stop. There was a pause, then a small laugh. Stop what? He glanced at me, then back at the phone. This, us. Another pause. Is she there? My skin prickled. She knew. Of course she knew. Evan didn't answer fast enough. Oh, Leela said, voice smoothing into something sweet and sharp. Hi, Mia, I guess you found out. I leaned toward the phone. I found your pictures in my bedroom. She sighed theatrically. He told me you two were basically done. Basically, I said, with a wedding 3 months away. A beat, then she said, almost bored, well, now you know. Type yes if you want to see all targets hit at once, because in that moment, I realized the target wasn't just Evan. It was the story he'd been telling everyone. And I knew exactly what I was going to do next. Evan ended the call like it burned. He tried to step closer again, voice low, intimate, like intimacy was a lever he could still pull. Mia, please, don't do anything you'll regret. Let's talk like adults. Adults, as if he hadn't been sneaking around like a teenager. As if adult meant quietly absorbing humiliation so it wouldn't inconvenience him. I nodded slowly. Okay, we'll talk. His shoulders loosened. He thought he'd won something. I need air, I added, already moving toward the bedroom. I'm going to take a shower. I can't be in my skin right now. Okay, he said quickly. Yeah, take your time. I'll make dinner or something. I closed the bedroom door and locked it. My hands were steady now. Not because I felt okay, but because something else had taken over. My operations brain, the part of me that knew how to handle crises by turning them into steps. I opened my laptop, logged into the wedding email account, and stared at the inbox like it was a crime scene. Venue confirmations, catering invoices, bridal salon reminders. A honeymoon itinerary Evan had forwarded with the subject line, "Can't wait." He couldn't wait, apparently, to live 2 lives at once. First, I created a folder named Receipts. Then I saved everything. Screenshots of the iPad messages, the photo thumbnails, the line where he told her to be patient, the call log showing he put her on speaker in front of me. I didn't dramatize it. I didn't add commentary. I just collected proof, neat and clean, like evidence bags. Because Evan's power came from plausible deniability, and I was done giving him that. When I came out of the bedroom, wrapped in a towel, Evan was in the kitchen pretending to chop vegetables. He looked up like a hopeful dog. You okay? He asked. No, I said simply, and walked past him to the living room. He followed. What are you doing? I'm taking back control of the narrative, I said, opening our shared wedding group chat, the one with my bridesmaids, his groomsmen, both sets of parents, and a few close friends who'd been helping with logistics. Evan insisted on it months ago. Transparency, he'd called it. I typed, hey everyone, quick update. Wedding planning is paused. I'll explain soon. Evan's face drained. Mia, don't. I looked at him. You already told a story to someone. You just didn't tell it to me. He swallowed. We can handle this privately. Privately meant quietly. Privately meant I would be the one embarrassed in whispers while he walked away polished. I opened a new message thread to the vendors. My fingers moved with the calm efficiency of someone canceling meetings, not a wedding. Venue, I need to pause cancel our date. Please advise next steps. Caterer, cancel contract. Please confirm any fees. Photographer, we're no longer proceeding. I'll need a breakdown of deposit terms. Each sent message felt like cutting a string. Painful, but freeing. Evan paced, you're doing this to punish me. Yes, I said, meeting his eyes, and to protect myself. He scoffed, like I'd said something unreasonable. So what, you're just going to blast me to everyone? I tilted my head. You're the one who invited everyone into our wedding. You don't get to demand privacy only when you're guilty. He stepped closer, voice turning cold. Be careful, you don't want to look unstable. People will think you're overreacting. There it was, the threat underneath the charm. The warning that he could paint me as emotional, dramatic, unreliable. So I gave him nothing emotional to twist. I walked into the kitchen, picked up the iPad, and opened the photo gallery again. Then I emailed myself the originals in full resolution, timestamps included. Not because I wanted to stare at them, but because I refused to let him delete history. Then I did one more thing, small, quiet, deadly. I opened Evan's calendar on the shared account. And I found the pattern. Repeated blocks labeled client dinner on nights he'd been working late. A hotel address saved in one event. A note on another. Leela, bring the blue dress. My throat went tight, but my hands stayed steady. Share this video so communities understand what was hiding, because the hiding is the whole point. The cheating is just the symptom. Evan didn't know yet, but his neat little double life had a paper trail. And I was about to follow it all the way to the end. That night I didn't sleep. Evan tried to, at first. He actually lay on the couch like a man who believed exhaustion could erase consequences. Around 2 a.m. he got up, wandered into the kitchen, and started talking in that soft voice people use when they want forgiveness without accountability. I ended it, he said. You heard me, I chose you. I stared at my laptop screen. I'd been cross-checking dates, calendar blocks, restaurant reservations in email, rideshare receipts he never thought to delete. Each one matched a night he'd kissed my forehead and told me he'd be home late. You didn't choose me, I said, not looking up. You chose the version of me who wouldn't notice. That's not fair. It's accurate. He ran a hand through his hair. What do you want? Money back. I'll reimburse your deposits. He said it like I was a vendor. I want the truth to exist where your lies have been living, I said. Evan's eyes narrowed. You're going to ruin my reputation over a fling. A fling doesn't require scheduling, I replied. And reputation is what you used to trap me. You told me I was paranoid every time I felt something off. That's reputational damage. You just did it to me privately. He flinched, like the words landed. By morning, my shock had burned down into something sharper. I called my friend Tessa first, my maid of honor, the one who'd been helping me build centerpieces out of dried flowers like we were crafting our future by hand. She answered on the first ring. Hey, are you okay? Evan texted Jard something weird last night. He said you two had a fight. Evan cheated, I said. Silence, then. What? Not a rumor, not a misunderstanding. I have proof. Tessa's voice went low. Send it. I sent her a folder link labeled receipts, read only, because I was done being careless. She opened it while I stayed on the line. I listened to her breathing change. Oh my God, she whispered. Oh my God, Mia. I'm canceling the wedding, I said. But he's already trying to frame me as unstable, so I'm going to do this one time, clean and clear, and then I'm done. Tessa exhaled hard. Tell me what you need. What I needed was simple, a controlled release. At noon, I wrote one message, the kind that doesn't beg, doesn't rant, doesn't hand anyone a handle to grab. Hi, everyone. The wedding is canceled. I found clear proof Evan has been involved with someone else for a while and planned to end things around the wedding logistics. I won't be discussing details publicly, but I'm sharing this once so there's no confusion. Please respect my privacy while I untangle the contracts. Thank you. I didn't name Leela, not because she deserved protection, but because I wanted the focus where it belonged. The man who made promises with one hand and texted lies with the other. I hit send in the group chat. Evan lunged for my phone like he could physically stop the truth. I stepped back. Don't, I warned. He froze, chest heaving, then switched tactics. You're humiliating me. You humiliated me first, I said. You just did it in secret. Within seconds, the typing bubbles appeared. My mom, are you safe? I'm coming over. His mom, Evan, call me immediately. One of his groomsmen, dude, what is this? Another, Mia, I'm so sorry. Evan's phone started ringing nonstop. He stared at it like it was attacking him. Then my phone rang, unknown number. I answered, hello. A pause, a breath. Mia, a woman said softly, this is Leela. I leaned against the counter. What do you want? I didn't know, she said quickly. I swear, he told me you were basically done. He said you were cold, that you didn't even want the wedding. I closed my eyes. He said that about me. Yes, she admitted. He said you were more like a roommate. My jaw clenched. So he'd been rewriting me to make himself the hero in both stories. I said, if you want to fix one thing, tell me the truth. How long? She hesitated. Since March. March, the month he ordered my ring size, just to be sure. My voice went flat. Did you know about the date, the venue? I knew there was a wedding, she whispered. I didn't think it was real. If this shocked you, comment 14 below. Because the shock isn't that men cheat, it's how they script everyone around them. I hung up. Then I turned to Evan, who looked smaller now, cornered by the reality he'd created. You're moving out, I said, today. He opened his mouth. And if you say one more word about my overreaction, I'll forward the calendar notes to your boss, since you used work as the cover. His face went white. He didn't argue again. Evan packed fast once he realized charm wasn't currency anymore. He shoved clothes into a duffel, avoided my eyes, and kept muttering about how this was blown out of proportion, like proportion mattered more than betrayal. When he reached for the nightstand, I watched him pause at the ring box we'd been using to store spare keys. His hand hovered, then pulled back, as if even he understood he'd forfeited the right to touch anything symbolic. The door clicked shut behind him. The apartment didn't feel empty. It felt quiet enough to hear myself again. My phone kept buzzing. Some messages were pure support. Some were people trying to stay neutral, which is just cowardice in polite clothing. His mother called twice. I didn't answer. Not because I hated her, but because I refused to be recruited into cleaning up what her son set on fire. By evening, my group chat message had done what Evan feared most. It removed his ability to narrate. The replies stopped being, what happened? And started being, what did he do? There's a difference. One gives him room to spin. The other assumes responsibility belongs where the proof points. At 9:17 p.m., a new message popped up from an unfamiliar account on Instagram. A blank profile. No posts. No followers. It was Evan. He'd blocked me on his main account hours earlier, then came back wearing a mask. The message read, you think you won, you don't know who you're messing with. My stomach tightened, not from fear, but from recognition. This was the real Evan. When the charming layer peeled off, what was left was entitlement and threat. I screenshotted it and added it to the receipts folder. Then I did the last thing he never expected. I stopped talking to him. No dramatic final call, no long paragraph, no confrontation in the hallway. Silence is a kind of boundary that doesn't negotiate. 2 days later, Tessa came over with coffee and a pack of sticky notes. We sat at my dining table, turning my canceled wedding into an organized exit plan. She labeled notes like a project board. Bank, vendors, ring, lease, passwords, mutual friends. I changed every password. I removed his access from shared accounts. I deleted the location sharing we D once called romantic. I notified the venue that only I could approve any changes. I wasn't being petty. I was being safe. That night I finally slept, and when I woke up, the first thought wasn't him. It was me. Here's the part people don't tell you. Revenge isn't always public humiliation or a viral takedown. Sometimes revenge is refusing to be rewritten. It's living so cleanly that the liar has nowhere to pin the mess. Evan wanted me quiet. He wanted me embarrassed. He wanted me to doubt my instincts so much I'd accept scraps as love. Instead, I kept the truth. I kept the proof, and I kept my dignity. If you stayed until the end, hit like, because stories like this only get seen when people push them forward. Comment one thing you would have done first in my situation. Check the phone, confront him, or cancel the wedding. And subscribe if you want real, receipt-backed stories that remind you your gut is usually right.